Try again. I'll try again. I think I'm live. And a little bit of a studio difficulty here, trying to get privacy, and I do apologize for any background sound you're hearing. I want to welcome you all to a live podcast that's broadcast around the world, and I warmly welcome all of you that have a child protection system matter. I call CPS a child protection system, CPS, and it's a branch of social services that is supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. And I want you all to listen because I have several parts to my podcast. I don't want to put my phone number yet because I'm not able to receive calls at the moment. I know Vonage was down earlier in the morning, but the reason why I don't put my phone up right away is I have 4 steps of how to interact with this podcast room, and I like to go through and explain them before I take phone calls. So I put my phone down just temporary. One of the first steps of interacting with this live podcast is to just be in the room, be a listener. Like there's several of you right now in the room, and I welcome you all. And I do try to talk about child protection system, helping your case. And I do my best to try to help you solve your problems or so forth, just by listening and taking notes. That's step 1. Now, step 2 is the hi, Christine Clark. Is this Christina Renzenzo, or is this a new person called Christine Lynn Clark? There is no help. No help for what? I don't know what you're talking about. No help for what? Okay. The second step is, and again, I apologize for the background noises that you're hearing. I'm trying my best to do a broadcast from my home, and I'm from California down here at the beach. And the second thing is that after you've been in this room, you may come up with a question or a comment you want to portray in there. Now, I put up that note about how to do comments. Now, you found me on Facebook, and I'm broadcasting on YouTube, and I'm using the application called Fight CPS. Fight CPS. And let me go back to, we have Christina Clark. She is, I don't know if this is Christina Renzo or what. At a risk of dying during hemorrhage surgery that's so huge, I look like an overdue pregnant person. All over extremities, I have evidence of the crime the Orange, Texas CPS has done to me. So this is Christina Lynn Clark. I don't think we've talked before because the Christina that I know is Christina Rezenzo from New Mexico. So welcome from the Orange, Texas. And I'm really sorry to hear that. And it really worries me. If you really need 911, please call them because you sound real critical there. Now, going back to my comments, is that you should pertain your question something about CPS or your comment about the child protection system. That is the agency that is a part of social services supposed to protect your children from neglect or abuse and to help your family when they need assistance. They help your family when they need assistance. And with that being said, they're also, if they break the family apart, which most likely they have done so, is supposed to do family reunification. Now, family reunification is where they help the parents correct their deficiencies and get together back as a family. Because studies have shown the best parents are the biological parents. Now, All I ask you is you put your first name. Now, if you already have a regular name, that is fine. You don't have to put another name in there. But some of you do put, names like Monkey Tree or Happy Magic or something like that. I need names. Don't have to worry about your last name. Put your first name. Put the city, state that you're texting from, or maybe you're from a country. I've had about 13 countries text in about their CPS issues, and I'm open to everybody in the world. Since this is a worldwide exposure, since anybody that has internet can tune in and hear me talk about the child protection system. Now, the countries that have texted messages have been Bangladesh, New Delhi, India, Africa. I've had the province in South Africa on the west coast. I've had Mozambique, which is the country above South Africa, opposite Madagascar on the east coast. Then I've had Rwanda, who is next to Lake Victoria, small country in Central East Africa. And they are gone through a lot. In 1994, their country, through civil unrest, 1 million people were murdered and butchered in that country, and 500,000 females were raped, children as well as young teenage girls and adults and old mothers. Now, it's a horrific thing that country went through, but the people that have text comments said they have recuperated and the country's strong again, and it's somewhat nice. Now, be very complete with your CPS case. If you call in or you text in, try to start off with your case and tell me what your family consists of. Are you a husband and wife? Are you a girlfriend, boyfriend? Maybe you're lovers, or maybe you're a partnership. I like that because it helps me understand the situation. Are both parents involved with the kids? Are you a single parent where one parent is taken off? Also, are the kids with the same parents? Or they have multiple dads, multiple moms? Furthermore, I'd like to know the allegations, neglect or abuse, and a little bit of detail of each that you can explain. Then I want to know how the children were taken from your home. Did you allow them to take your child when they asked for them? Did you take them down to the social social center for the child protection system and turn them over? Did you talk to them, to the social workers? Did they use the police to intimidate you to do what you want? Was there domestic violence going on? Did the police and the social workers have to enter because you guys were fighting, maybe with weapons drawn like knives or guns? Or maybe the child was being strangled or thrown against the wall because they were crying. I'd like to know all the issues. Furthermore, did they have a court warrant when they took your child? Did they take your child? Are you still at home with your child? And then I'd like to know what the allegations are. Are you neglect, abuse, or both of them? There's some details about that. Also, the ages and sexes of the children would really help. That would really help. So try to be complete and tell me also where you're at on your case. So if you start off saying all that on comments or when you call in, that really helps. That really helps me understand your situation, and it can help you better. I don't mind playing ping pong where I ask a question, you answer, then I ask another question, you answer. But it's going to take a lot of time. It may eat up my whole hour. So it's best you just state your whole situation, and then we can go from there from your questions. So that is the second way. The third way to interact with this podcast is be a guest on my podcast. I've had numerous guests over these past so many months. And all you have to do is contact my show producer, Grace. She works behind the scenes. She's very helpful, and she knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing. And she helps me with my podcast. and she will help you get on the podcast by giving you a link to StreamYard, which is the application I use on YouTube. She'll tell you what to do and not to do as a guest. For instance, no smoking, no eating on the show. Also, no names of children, judges, social workers, no names of those people. And then she'll tell you what to do. And all you have to do is write her email. Her email address is grace@vincentwdavis.com, grace@vincentwdavis.com. And she can help you get on the podcast. You pick one of my 14 shows. I'm on 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. I come on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time and 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time in the evening. They're a 1 hour podcasts. Now, there's exceptions. On Sunday, I'm on at 8 o'clock so that I may attend church with my family. So I'm on at 8 o'clock on Sunday. Then there are certain times during the week that I may have different times. I will tell you ahead of time. But most times, it's 7 o'clock in the evening, 10 o'clock in the morning. And you just tell Grace, I want to be a Bob's morning show. On Wednesday, I want to be a Bob's Saturday evening show, Bob's Friday morning show, Bob's Monday evening show. And you just tell her the times. There's a room for 10 of you. I can have 10 people, including myself. That's 9 people can be on the podcast with me. So the third way to interact with the podcast is to be a guest. Now, finally, we get at the phone number. Welcome, Sarah Davis. I will be in a second. I'm doing my fourth way to interact. I'll be with you. The fourth way is to call in. Now my phone number is officially up. I can take calls. I understand Vonage was down. That's a live stream thing we use on the phone. And I wish someone would call me so it rings my phone so I can find my phone. I had set it down, but somehow I've misplaced my phone. I was looking for it earlier. But if you could call in right now, my number, by the way, is 626-698-0990. And I'll be able to talk to you on the phone. I'll put you on speakerphone. So that's the fourth way to interact with this podcast. There are 4 ways. And I hope that you all will use one of those 4 ways. Either be in the room, which I right now have many people in the room listening and taking notes, or type in a comment, or be a guest on the podcast, or call in. Or call in. The number's up. So I'd like to go back to the people that have early come in the room. We have Christine Lynn Clark. Christina. She is new. I know several Christinas, but she's not the one I thought she was. She says there's no help. She says also, I'm going to put it up there, I'm at risk of dying during hernial surgery. I think that's in her abdomen area. That's so huge, like an overdue pregnant person. All over extremities, I have evidence of the crimes that the Orange, Texas child protection system's done to me. Oh, I hear the phone. Oh, ring it again. Oh, God. If whoever called in could ring the phone again, it'd be much appreciated. The phone rang twice, but I couldn't grab it in time. It's near me, but I don't know where it is. That's really strange. Whoever called in, please call me again, please. Now, Christina says that there's some bad things that the Orange County, Texas CPS done. Now, we have a new person, and I don't know where they're from. Her name is Sarah Davis. Oh, they're from Wyona, Minnesota. Welcome, Sarah Davis. Sarah says that the child protection system is in the process of legally kidnapping my nephew. So you're not the mother of the child. You must be a nephew. So would that mean you're an aunt or uncle? It's your wife's or your is it your wife's or brother? Okay. Welcome, Tom.
Hi.
Thank you for calling me. I couldn't find my phone, slipped by my side inside the couch. And I'm glad you called. Were you the one that called earlier?
Yeah, I called earlier, but I was kind of in the middle of several things all at the same time and texting and watching, and I think there was a delay that slowed everything down to do. So.
Well, welcome, Tom. And I just started my show, and we have Sarah Davis as an aunt, and her nephew is she didn't say where she's from though. Where are you from, Tom?
I live near St. Louis.
Did you talk to me? Did you talk to me earlier, Tom, from St. Louis, Missouri?
Yes,
Yes, I remember you were on this morning. Were you not, Tom?
Right.
Well, I welcome you, Tom. And I guess we were talking about your case, and we're running a little bit out of time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just kind of in a daze of everything that's gone on. You know, it's like it's all happened so fast.
Well, you said it happened last week, and you were trying to do education at home, but you didn't have education. It was your 12-year-old son. You said that was being sexually molested by two boys in the neighborhood. He and you had a discussion about it. He had an argument. He walked out of the house. The sheriffs found him walking the streets. They brought him home, I imagine, to you. And then the sheriffs, who have to report to the Child Protection Services because they're required by law, alerted the CPS. And now the CPS is charging you with neglect. Now, what about the abuse with your boy by those other two boys? Is CPS do anything about that?
Well, it's kind of we didn't have an argument over the abuse. We had an argument because the child is damaged because of the abuse. So like he was raging on the Xbox in the middle of the night, and like his mom had a headache, and I told him to stop, and then I unplugged the
Then you
router,
took away the
Xbox.
You took away the
started a fight.
Yeah.
And anyways, he told us how he hated us and how he wanted to leave, and then I was like, well, go, and it was just like I was in a towel. I just got out of the tub, so like the kid's in all black, runs out the door. His mom yells at him to get back in here. He takes off running. I can't go chase him. Like I get dressed, I get in the car, I go up and down the road several times looking for him. But the main thing about the whole thing is, we had like a whole routine basically going on, like trying to get this kid healed up from all this stuff. And it happened when he was from, I guess he was saying from like 6 to right before about 7 or so. So like 5 to 7 age period. So like we've had in the last 4 years trying to work him through this problem and stuff. So like, anyways, where am I going? I don't know, but he left the house, ran across the road, and we have property that he could have went to in the woods, and that's ours separate from where this is at. So we were like going up and down the road looking for him, figured he's just in the woods hiding. Well, anyways, the cops found him about probably right around an hour after, and then basically interrogated him for an hour and a half without us, trying to find out where he lived and stuff. And he wasn't really sure how to spell the road because our road's kind of an odd spelling for what the road's supposed to be. I mean, if I told you the road and then how to spell it, you'd be like, that's a weird way to spell it. And his name is like kind of a hard name to spell, but he goes by a 3-letter name, short version of his name, which he could spell anyways. Well, the CPS basically, they twisted every little fact that, you know, you give him or whatever. So whatever this kid did, he twisted the fact. Oh, he can't spell his name. You know, he's dirty, yeah, because he just ran through the woods and to a neighborhood and stuff in the middle of the night. Yeah, he's dirty, you know, and sweaty because, you know. Anyways, they sat and interrogated the kid. Basically said that he couldn't read or write, and then now we didn't feed him, and the kid's like, you know, 12 years old, and he probably weighs 130 pounds, and he's like solid muscle, you know. It's not like the kid, even the cops said no. But basically, the cops said that he was scared to come home, you know, and I mean, we're not an abusive family. We barely ever have to even like yell at the kid or anything, but he's being loud, and when I do, he's being disrespectful, so I unplugged the router, and, you know, he's just acting out. So, like, he took off running. Anyways, the cops got him before we could find him, and then it was like an hour and a half after they found him, they finally bring him home, and, well, why aren't you looking for him? We were looking for him, you know, and we also own property that, so basically the main thing is the last 3 months, our property was eminent domain, and it's right connected right to where we live at. So the county stole our property from us. So I had like to get all my property, personal possessions, broke back into the house, and I was trying to move away from this place. So I pushed all my stuff to the property to move away, and now I had to like give it to the county. You know, I ain't got no money to be doing all this stuff. So like, things are getting tight on us all, where I'm not at home all day long watching the kid, you know, making sure he's got, you know, there's food in the house. I didn't let the CPS agent in, and that's basically, I think, why they mainly took the kid, because I refused to let him in the house, because I've dealt with him before over stuff. Because basically when this first thing whole started is, you know, I confronted the parents. I told them about it. So I told them I couldn't trust CPS because I knew they're like trafficking kids all over the freaking planet and stuff, and doing crazy stuff to them that I'm reading about everywhere, like Pizzagate and whatnot, you know. And like, there's all types of stories. If they're real, there's got to be a problem. There's something wrong. Anyways, so basically my fear is CPS. You know, I could deal with the neighborhoods. I could deal with these parents. They're all moved out. They're gone, you know. They don't want to deal with me, you know. But anyways, it's CPS. I mean, they're government. They just come steal your kid, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. So,
well, it depends on if you know your constitutional rights. If you know your constitutional rights, there is a way you can do that. The thing is,
well, I wrote a statement to the court when I went in there, and I was basically notice the principal, notice the agent, notice principal, and I told him my natural born son, you know, is you know, and I had it all written out, and I read it off in court. So I mean, I'd have to like read it to you now, but anyways, it's got names on it and stuff, so I don't want to get into that, but. Basically, they had my son without my consent, and the only thing I consented to was the fact that they do an investigation against these two boys. But you know what? These two boys probably already had a record, and there's just going to be another page in the book. I was waiting for them to turn 18, and then I was going to report them. And you know, I told everybody, you know, watch out for my wife. You know, everybody knew except the kidnappers. You know. So
yeah.
Anyways. So now they've got my kid, they went and enrolled him in school. School just started, you know. How are they going to say, oh, he wasn't in school when it's summer vacation? We had a school program until these kids started raping my kid, you know.
Well, you said that you never had a formal school program. You had what you thought was a school program. Remember, I gave you...
Missouri, you just got to create a school environment, curriculum. Basically, you create the curriculum and the kid does it. But I couldn't get the kid to focus on anything. All he thinks was how they used it. Basically, like the Xbox was just a big...
Tom, when I looked up on Missouri, it said that you had to formally make an agreement with the education department about your program. It had to be formally done. and there were tips to
Yeah, I
do
don't
it,
know about
and there are laws
people.
that you cannot conduct your own schooling without it being formalized with the Education Department of Missouri.
Yeah, see, that's just like
And I know that's hard to swallow because you hate government and government interferes with
right,
everything.
right.
But they
Yeah, I
have to
understand
do that
that
because
part.
a lot of parents don't know how to teach. A lot of parents don't know what a good program. That's why they need to
Well,
vet you to see if you have a legitimate program.
well, see, they're supposed to be testing the boy, like, but they haven't got the testing done. They're supposed to have it on the. I haven't even seen the kids since they taken him last Wednesday night or Thursday, 1 o'clock in the morning, August 14th. So he's put in a foster home with 4 other boys. You know, I don't know what type of abuse they've sustained, but I'm sure I've had a stepbrother who was in foster care and was a victim of his family is in satanic ritual abuse. So, they
Right.
barbecue babies and grill.
Have you had a chance to talk to the child protection system about having your son stay with a family member?
Well, see, that was the thing. He was going to offer to send it to my mother, but he didn't want to go because they make him follow the rules there. And then my stepfather wouldn't allow a kid in the house that wasn't going to follow rules and just they'd sit back and he couldn't even, discipline the kid or, you can't even give the kid a Tylenol without a shrink,
Well, that kid
or
is
something.
shooting
And then
himself
we
in the
weren't even
foot.
allowed to be around the kid.
Right, that
So
kid is
we're not
shooting
even
him in the
addressing
foot. He's going to regret what he does. You as a parent try to do your best, and you as a father care about your child. But sometimes children at 12 and 13 and 14 have to learn the hard way. They have to learn the hard way. And as a parent, that's hard to do. Long if you show them love and you do what's best to care for them, that'll be fine. Now, CPS has a different alternative motive. They're interested to make money. It's a $1 trillion business that CPS is into. The longer they keep your child and the longer they're adopted, the more money they're going to get. Because the way it works is that the federal government gives the money to the state, unlimited amount of money. There's no control what the federal government does. There's no transparency. For instance, in Kentucky, there is $100,000 unaccounted for. $100,000 that CPS can't tell the county what they spent with the money. You see, the social workers pay themselves bonuses. They buy things. My social worker was always bragging about her new Gucci purse every week she got. So I know that they get lots of money. Their MO is to traffic your child, to alienate your child, and they'll feed fuel to that child to really hate you. So the best thing you can tell your son, I love you, son. If you want to come home, you have to do things by following the rules. You have to do a formalized education program at home. But understand you enrolled your son, the CPS enrolled him into a public school. Maybe he'll find out that the public school is as good as his homeschooling.
I would be even down with the kid going to public school, even now that some of the stuff's starting to go away here, like some of the weird schooling that's going on ever since about 2012 or whatever.
The problem is you got to make changes, and the problem is changes take forever. And the only way you can make changes is at the top. That's the Congress, and the Congress people, the senators and representatives make those changes.
I am on the warpath for CPS. They
Right.
are a criminal organization, and if this is what it takes.
But no matter how much you want to beat up CPS, they don't care because no one can touch them. You can go to the ombudsperson at the state of Missouri. You can go to the senior civil rights coordinator at Missouri and file a grievance against them. You can go to the health, and that's at the state level. Then at the federal level, you go to the health.
Senior civil rights
It's
lawyer?
it's called the senior civil rights coordinator. Also, There is the ombudsperson at the state level. Ombudsperson, OMBUS, person, PRSON.
Okay.
You go to this Missouri to the state. They have a page. You type in their ombudsperson, or you type in civil rights coordinator. In some states, it's called civil rights coordinator. Some states, it's called ombudsperson. Now, at the federal level, you go to the health and welfare department and make a grievance if the state is not helping you. Trying to file a grievance at the CPS with the director is going to be a waste of time because, from my experience, I never got anywhere with my director.
Yeah, I think the whole thing's just rigged all the way up.
Oh, it is. It is. And I want to catch up with some of the people in my room. So excuse me one moment here, Tom. I'll be right back with you. Christina was sharing some extremities, but I don't know where she's from. Oh, she's from Texas. I'm sorry, Orange, Texas. But she said nothing more. Sarah Davis is somebody new. She's from Winona, Minnesota, and her trial's coming up September 5th. She is the biological parents will most likely have rights terminated. So I'm not sure if Sarah is trying to go there to maybe get the guardianship of the child or not. The GAL lied in court reports. I have no idea who the GAL is. Sarah Davis further says she met with child on certain dates. However, she did not. Refuses to give reports of observation of the child. I have no idea who you met with. If you can help me, Sarah. Also, I have no idea. Yeah, I know where you are there. Okay, you're an aunt. That's right. You're not the parents. And you're aunt by marriage. You got to understand, Sarah. The biological parents are the first priority. Child protection system does not talk to aunts, grandparents, seniors, elders. They don't talk. And then a new person named Jessica Deanna said Monday p.m. Hi, all my family. I have no idea what you're talking about, Jessica. I think I recognize the name Deanna, but I have no idea where you're from, Jessica. She said USC Title 42, Statutes 1916. I believe it is withdrawal of consent to foster care. They're operating off our consent, rescinded your signatures, and used their code against them. So I guess you have some problem with social workers. I have no idea what part of the country you're from. Jessica further says, write on paper the day of the court submitted the case demanding your nephew be turned over to the family immediately. It's detrimental. Also look up the whistleblower. Jessica, who are you talking? Are you talking about somebody in the room? Jessica, I put your comment up on the screen. And then you say, write on paper the day of the court submitted in the case demanding a nephew be turned over to his family immediately. It's detrimental. DHS whistleblower Congress. Deanna further says, also bring the point up that the DCS attorneys have filed fraudulent documents in court that got the judge to sign an order to take the child, but they're not first-hand witness, therefore they've proven liars. Well, understand that the social workers' attorneys are bad, but do you have an attorney? If you have a court-appointed attorney, it's not going to be very, very, very good for you because they will lie. The court-appointed attorney is just a waste of time. And it's okay if you misspell, Jessica. I'm still trying to find where it is. Is it calling unschooling? I have no idea what you're talking about. Or guided a guardian ad litem. If you're trying to take a guardianship, it's the ad litem, yes. There's another way to not participate in. I have no idea. Secular and parents are actually the ones ordained by our Creator to be a teacher and steward of children. It's our duty. Jessica, I'm really confused. I don't know what city or state or country you're from. Now, Sarah says we are the party in the case. Sarah says we are the party in the case. I have no idea what case you're talking about, Sarah. We have discovery, found lies, and that my nephew was a Oh, I know you are the aunt. But how are you? Are you the guardians of your nephew? I'm really confused, Sarah. They'll not place him with a family, have no reason for that. Has the family rights been terminated, Sarah? We do not. Nobody will take the case. Well, here's the problem, Sarah. If you are not the biological parents or the parents' rights have not been terminated, they won't listen to you. You need to, you can't get a nephew, but I know it's your nephew's case, but you have to be the biological parents. All right, I'm back to you, Tom. I'm back to you,
Yeah.
Tom. You were talking about Tom has identified himself um, from, oh boy, I forgot already. I'm sorry, Tom.
St. Louis?
Yeah, Tom is from St. Louis, Missouri, and he has a case that he's been charged with neglect. He has a 12-year-old boy that had an argument about something else, and Tom's decided as a punishment to take away the Nintendo, so the child ran off. He sounds spoiled, or anyway, he ran off, and the sheriff found him and brought him home. But the sheriff had to report, because by law, professional people have to, that his son was found walking the streets. That is called neglect, and that's why you're charged with a social worker. Furthermore, Tom said that the child was abused sexually by these boys, and so I don't know if the social workers turn rogue on you or not. So
Yeah, they basically turned rogue on me, and so basically I'm the monster now. So like, basically I stated that I was a natural born citizen to the sheriff, basically claiming that his law of the land is all I really answered to. So I was talking to the sheriff, I didn't want a contract with the CPS, so I wouldn't let him in my house. The sheriff would ask to come walk the house. It was perfectly fine. I took video later on of all the pantry and the kitchen and the food. There's food, electric, water going, food in the fridge, food in the freezer. He told the people he's hungry, he hadn't eaten all day or something. The kid's starving. The CPS lady's feeding him his chicken tenders and stuff, and like making him out to be a starving kid. They twisted every little thing. Made him lift his shirt so there's no bruises, but one little mark on his left elbow that looks like a track mark. Who puts track marks on their left elbow? I mean, we got cats around. I'm sure it's just a tiny cat scratch. And had him pull up his legs, that they're really pale because they were white. He's a white child. He doesn't go outside because of the kids that I was separating him from, so he's become more comfortable inside. And then, so anyways, they've twisted everything, manipulated everything around to where, the kids, he's never been to a doctor, which I've taken him like twice, but he's never been vaccinated. So that was the other thing. They went and did all medical background checks to find out he's never been vaccinated except for the one time he was at birth. And that's why he's perfectly healthy and never has to go to the doctor because, he's not vaccinated. But because of the fact I don't take him to the doctor, they say that's like, I don't know, neglect as well, I guess. But anyways, we was at the hearing, and the judge was, I guess was one of the CPS workers was demanding to be able to vaccinate my child to get him enrolled in school. Anyways, I strongly objected, and that judge actually went along and stopped it for the time being. But, I don't know what's going to happen to my kids. I mean, these vaccines are killing people left and right, and then kids dying from the suddenlies and stuff, and they don't know what's going on.
Well, unless your medical rights have been terminated, they can't give your child vaccinations, and they can't do anything medically to your child unless you've terminated your rights.
Well, I know, and then what, they got to start getting him on psychotropic drugs next because
no, because you're gonna.
Can't focus
well, the
in
thing is,
school.
do you have an attorney, Tom? Do you have an attorney?
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking for one right now. I live in a trailer park. They just stole my land and my property. I'm supposed to be getting compensated, which I haven't been compensated. The day they stole my property was the day they stole my kid. This Monday, I had to surrender my property at 9 a.m. and then at 11 a.m. the judge granted the CPS agent.
Why did you have to sell? Why did you have to lose your property? Why couldn't you keep your property?
Because they needed to put a road right through the middle of one that they failed to maintain or put a guardrail.
Okay, so they have eminent domain. So they're going to give you supposedly the fair market for that land, right?
Yeah, but I'm still unwilling, but it's fiat dollars. I mean, it's not going to be in gold and silver per Article 1, Section 10 of the U.S. Constitution. The state's supposed to deal in gold and silver coin, but they're all getting paid in Federal Reserve notes, so they work for somebody else, not us.
Well, I wish I could help you there, but I'm worrying about the child protection system.
Yeah, that's all I care about now, because that was the other thing, is because, I'm dealing with all this stuff. I had till Monday to move my property off my property so it doesn't get destroyed by the bulldozer when it comes through. So I'm like doing all this stuff. In the meantime, my son's just staying at home all day because, it's all I can do to get.
Well, here's the thing is, right now your son may or may not be in a good place. But if your son and you disagree and your son doesn't want to, you don't have to force him. He'll figure it out what's better, being with dad or being with foster care. And I know that sounds awful. It sounds awful, but you have to concentrate what's best for your family. Do you have other children?
Yeah, they left home. One's a Marine and the other one's
That's right. That's right. I'm proud of your son being a Marine. Thank you for his service.
That was the other thing. It's like when I was talking to you earlier, that was the other thing I was doing, is he was actually trying to see about fully on adopting the child out, but he's trying to go to Japan here, and we don't know.
Well, you can do, you don't have to adopt a child. You can do what's called guardianship. Now, there's somebody here in this room, Sarah Davis. You can do guardianship. You don't have to be a foster care person to get your son. You can be a guardian. You can be a guardian. That could be any relative. And you can petition a court to be a guardian of your nephew. If the parents are not successful taking care of the child, you can be a guardian. You can look at guardianship. I have no idea what state that Sarah Davis is from. I'm sorry, what?
Can a brother be a guardian?
Anybody can be a guardian. You have to be over 18 years of age, but anybody can request to be a guardian. I'm not going to say it's going to happen overnight, but you can petition a court to be a guardian of a child. So if the parents are no longer fit to take care of that child or do not want to take care of the child, someone else can step in there. Got to be careful, though. Parents have to give up their educational and medical rights to their children. So you got to be really careful about doing that.
Well, the only thing that'd be an advantage is you have Navy doctors and Navy military schools. I mean, I'm a military brat. My parents are all Air Force, military, vets, and their parents, my grandparents as well, So, I mean, I'm the only one not in the military, so.
Yeah. Sarah, who is talking in this room. Sarah, can you maybe look at guardianship of your nephew? Sarah from Minnesota, Milwaukee, Minnesota. Right now, we have Tom from St. Louis, Missouri. We have Jessica, who I don't know where Jessica's from. I thought Jessica, it doesn't say. Sarah's from Minnesota. Oh, Jessica's from Tennessee. Welcome. So we have Tennessee in the room. We have Tennessee. And Sarah, well, it's recommended, don't have your grandmother become a foster care parent. Have your grandmother maybe be a guardian of your nephew, or some other relative could be a guardian of your nephew. Now, I notice in my room, it's hard to find all the messages because there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rooms connected with this room, and their messages came in after all the comments from all the people. We're getting close to my 8 o'clock hour, which will end my podcast. And I want to thank all of my listeners, including you, Tom. You have to keep trying and keep trying. I'm on again, Tom, in the morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Some of you can call in tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and I can try to help you. And starting from the top, I want to thank, let me see here. I had to go back and find Christina Lynn Clark, who had a bad case, and I have no idea where she's from. Sarah Davis from Winona, Minnesota, thank you. And you're the one that could get a guardianship of your nephew there, because I know that your grandmother is grandmother of there. Jessica, Deanna, is something talking about foster care. I have no idea where you're from, Jessica, but I love to help you there. And also, let me see who else we had. Sarah Davis, and then we had another group of rooms talks. And now I'm coming down to the other people. Sarah's again, Jessica, Deanna, and Jessica, Deanna, and then Sarah Davis. So I want to thank all of you for listeners. I want to thank all of you that give me emojis and be in this room to listen. And again, I'll be on tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and we can talk more about your case, about giving you help. I care about you, but be careful. CPS is not your friend. You have to fight for them. Don't give up. I love you guys, and I wanted to wish you all a good evening, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock.